until I picked up on the mission. Now I'm fringed up, draped in purple, yeah, I'm with it. About to break it down.
Look, deep man, I'm trying to stay focused, but the devil, he keep trying to take me out or something, bro. Give me some scriptures or something, say a prayer for a brother.
Right, I got you, bro. No, check this out, man. I got something for you. Listen closely, get that scripture. Proverbs 18:24, get that. Reader, friend shows himself friendly. Won't it? Be there. Ain't no time for no excuses. That is useless. Don't offend there. That's that separation. Nation shows himself have us walking dead. Pacing, thriller, fix your face and make a difference. You keep sinning cause you distant. Convocating is an action. Apply that and you'll be winning. Listen, you trying to stay focused. Devil trying to get you. I can really relate to that cause I've been in it. Shit, I've been there. Waste your time and your emotions. Wind up choking before you get there. Satan loves that separation. Don't do that, man. Why appease him? That's that illustration. Faking. Caesar got up in your head. Now changing your demeanor. Don't get caught off in that nonsense. Seek the counsel of these scriptures. Be a man, stick to his plan or you'll be damned. Don't let him get you. I'm trying to stay focused. Devil trying to get me. I could really use some brothers. If y'all couldn't, please bear with me.
Hey, we got you, man. It's nothing. Grab the scriptures. It is written. We the servants. Yeah, the prophets worship God. We bout his business.
I'm trying to stay focused. Devil trying to get me. I could really use some brothers. If y'all couldn't, please bear with me.
Hey, we got you, man. It's
nothing. I got a scripture for him.
Yeah, the prophets worship God. We bout his business.
Okay, I see you out here struggling. Battling with repentance, but you still hanging with niggas. Got you living wicked, okay? First off, bro, you gotta quit that. Can't be out here running with some riffraff. I know you're trying to get back on the right track. Come around the brothers, we can help you with that. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 26. Can't be running with the wrong click. It don't take much to fall back in wickedness. You know the devil come with many tricks. Yeah, you gotta find where you're weak at. Then learn how to defeat that. Don't you want the heathen bound down with your feet at? And all of the riches of the world, you can't beat that. You trying to stay focused, but you ain't been congregating. You done made yourself a target. That's why you got bit by Satan. He be looking for them brothers who get caught out in the open. If he spot you, then he got you. Now your spirit looking broken, okay? I know you ain't trying to go out that way. When a brother fall off is a bad day. When temptation come, don't make haste. Stay strong in the Lord, don't lose faith. Satan try everybody, not just you. Come on, bro, you gotta think it through. Stay strong in the Lord, cause you already know what you gotta do.
I'm trying to stay focused. Devil trying to get me. I could really use some brothers. If y'all couldn't, please bear with me.
Hey, we got you, man. It's nothing. Grab the scriptures. It is written. We the servants. Yeah, the prophets worship God. We bout his business.
I'm trying to stay focused. Devil trying to get me. I could really use some brothers. If y'all couldn't, please bear with me.
Hey, we got you, man. It's nothing. Grab the scriptures. It is written. We the servants. Yeah, the prophets worship God. We bout his business.
Hearken closely, get these verses. So rock 4 and verse 7, then rehearse it. Get the love of the congregation. Be sincere, we can build a nation. We need each other through tribulation. I got your back through all your faces. That gather up together. Yes, sir, you ain't even got to cease for us to Most High in Christ bless you. Most High in Christ bless you. And your household, 100-fold. Cause I know it get hard. Like just hit me on the phone. I know you trying to stay focused. Devil trying to get ya. I can really relate to that. Cause truth is we all too go through this. Don't make haste in time with trouble. So rock to read it through. Where the doorsteps of the elders out. But please remove your shoes and renew. Trying to do everything on your own. I need you to lean on to juke. So be strong and courageous. Be bold and courageous. Enter through temptation and have patience. Keep yourself with patience. Keep the convocation.
I'm trying to stay focused.
Check.
Devil trying to get me. I could really use some brothers. If y'all couldn't, please bear with me.
Hey, we got you, man. It's nothing. Grab the
long, most time, Christ bless. Long, most time, Christ bless.
God, we bout his business.
I'm trying to stay focused. Devil trying to get me. I could really use some brothers. If y'all couldn't, please bear with me.
Hey, we got you, man. It's nothing. Grab the scriptures. It is written. We the servants. Yeah, the prophets worship God. We bout his business.
I'm trying to stay focused. devil trying to get me. I could really use some brothers. If y'all couldn't, please bear with me.
Hey, we got you, man, it's nothing. Grab the scriptures, it is written. We the servants, yeah, the prophets. Worship God, we bout his business.
I'm trying to stay focused. Devil trying to get me. I could really use some brothers. If y'all couldn't, please bear with me.
Hey, we got you, man, it's nothing. Grab the scriptures, it is written. We the servants, yeah, the prophets. Worship God, we bout his business.
Deuteronomy 33:29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord. Sure! The only one that liveth and ruleth.
More thanks, Christ. Check 1, check 2, check 3, check 4. Check. Y'all hear me? All right, all praises. Most high Christ bless. Yes, sir.
Jah is calling his children, scattered through this earth. His chosen people, Israel, to the rulers of this world. And though we face oppression, one day the tables will turn. His prophecies of mercy, his music to my soul. I'm so glad to know that I am Israel. I'm glad to know that everything will be well. I'm glad to know that I am Israel. I'm so glad to know that everything will be well.
Joy in my heart, joy in my soul, now just the truth I know. I was walking in the dark, lost in this world, now another way to go. I know it's the time for my heart to turn. Before we know it, before it's too late, Jah will return. So me I been stand firm, cause me don't want to get burned. So me put down the gun, just stop getting high. Pick up the Bible, praise the Most High. Walk in the light, cause I'm an Israelite. Turn to the east, me I be trample the beast.
Jah is calling his children, scattered through this earth. His chosen people, Israel, to the rulers of this world. And though we face oppression, one day the tables will turn. His prophecies of mercies, his music to my soul. I'm so glad to know that I am Israel. I'm glad to know that everything will be well. I'm glad to know that I am Israel. I'm so glad to know that everything will be well.
Yeah, what is sweet to my soul, because it makes me sensible. To know that I will, oh yes I will, be delivered from this world. No more torment, no more slavery, no more oppression again. Because my nation, the Israelite nation, will rule and never end. So me I been stand firm, cause me don't want to get burned. So me put down the gun, just stop getting high. Pick up the Bible, praise the Most High. Walk in the light, cause I'm an Israelite. Turn to the east, me I be trample the beast.
Jah is calling his children, scattered through this earth. His chosen people, Israel, to the rulers of this world. And though we face oppression, one day the tables will turn. His prophecies of mercies, His music to my soul. I'm so glad to know that I am Israel. I'm glad to know that everything will be well. I'm glad to know that I am Israel. I'm so glad to know that everything will be well.
Everybody gather round and bust a style with a dance. If you're ready, we praise the most high with a dance. From a circle, go inside with a dance. Just time the spotlight and you might get a chance. If you're shy, stay on the side with a dance. And the wise old man with arthritis a dance. The deaf hear a noise and the blind take a dance. One foot man in the wheelchair rise with a dance. You love it when the sister them unite with a dance. Bench your vibes nice when we vibe with a dance. Pick on Malataya and him white for your dance. If you an Israelite, then a tie for your dance. So
when the high holy days come around, it's a party we gonna have fun. Knowing that deliverance will come, give glory to the Lord, it's a celebration.
That's right.
Yeah, celebrate.
That's right.
Yeah, celebrate. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One.
the joy of the Lord and my strength and levity. Righteousness forever, life longevity. Giving him praise is my responsibility. In the new moon and the feast days solemnity. Positive vibes, get rid of negativity. Fringes with God, make me fresher than celebrity. From New York City to Texas or Mississippi. Joyful noise in the time of festivity. Place full of life in a quiet and crickety. Children a smile running wild and fidgety. Man a drink rum when you look on them you see. Nobody no jump but them a sip and Hennessy. 12 tribes of Israel a gathering a unity. Native that Hispanics them a learn them true identity. We got a second chance to cleanse from iniquity. Glory in our dance we lost captivity.
When the high holy days come around, it's a party we gonna have fun. Knowing that deliverance will come, give glory to the Lord, it's a celebration.
That's right.
Yeah, celebrate.
That's right.
Yeah, celebrate. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One.
Since you give me one more chance, I'ma celebrate and dance. For the good times, for the bad times, yeah. All I wanna do is just dance. All I wanna do is just dance. All I wanna do is just dance. Put your hand up to the ceiling, yeah. Let me know just how you feeling.
When the high holy days come around, it's a party we gonna have fun. Knowing that deliverance will come, give glory to the Lord, it's a celebration.
That's right.
Yeah, celebrate.
That's right.
Yeah, celebrate. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One. Let's dance, gather all around. Gonna get deliverance from the Holy One.
To the side, to the side. Everybody put your sins to the side now. To the sky, to the sky. All praises to the Most High. To the side, to the side. Everybody put your sins to the side now. To the sky, to the sky. All praises to the Most High. To the side, to the side. Everybody put your sins to the side now. To the sky, to the sky.
All praises to the Most High. To the side, to the side. Everybody put your sins to the side now. To the sky, to the sky. All praises to the Most High.
It says, are you live on YouTube? Are we live on YouTube? Yes, we are on YouTube as well. Lionz Den YouTube. If we could share it on the Periscope, we'll do that shortly.
Hear. Which one are you
on? Yes, we are live on YouTube.
You on Periscope?
Periscope. Can you hear and see us clearly?
Okay, we'll make sure everybody can both hear and see. I haven't seen any feedback from Periscope. Can everybody?
It say no sound.
Yeah, no sound, no sound. You on Periscope? Okay.
Okay. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. All right, and places. I'm assuming YouTube is good too, right? No. All right, no sound on YouTube. Y'all give us a minute on Periscope. We're going to work on YouTube, make sure everything is good, and we'll start.
You got it now? You on YouTube? Periscope? Okay, we got Periscope.
Yeah, Periscope running. YouTube got sound now? YouTube?
No sounds.
No sounds
YouTube
from YouTube.
Is saying
all right, 1 second.
No sound. Yeah, YouTube.
Periscope good. Everybody got sound on Periscope. YouTube saying they don't got sound.
So it is Sunday. We are back. Periscope can see and hear us clearly. So bear with us just a moment. Just a moment. IUIC Radio. All right, all right.
Check. Okay.
Mic check. Are we good?
We good now?
We looking for the feedback over there.
Yeah. That's YouTube?
Should be good on YouTube. Can you see and hear us clearly on YouTube?
All right.
Okay.
Let's roll.
All praises.
All right.
So as y'all see today's topic, no place like home. There's no place like home. Why did we title it? Why do we have such a title? No place like home. We obviously know that. Actually, you said we had a beginning scripture to start off with. Now I'm thinking of another one. I got a lot of start off.
Hey, but real quick though, let's remind our listeners what's our motto on the Lionz Den Radio Show.
What is our motto?
Our motto is: we don't ignore evil, but we seek to expose it.
We don't ignore evil. We seek to expose it. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
So no place like home, because we got to remember, this is not our home. America is not our home. So we obviously have a home outside of America.
Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. Some people thought that this was home, that this is, because you'll hear that too. This is the place that God bless, and you'll hear often people say this is the land of milk and honey.
Right.
You'll hear people say that, especially out of country, that people that want to come over here, they say this is the land of milk and honey, right?
And this is one of the reasons why we ask people, what is your nationality? Because you have to know where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
That, as Officer Eladar stated, this is not our home, That's one of the prophecies.
Right.
That's one of the prophecies when we ask people who you are.
Right.
So we're gonna get into all of that. I'm not gonna jump the gun here. We're gonna get into all of that.
It's quite a few things that we do want to discuss. I want to start off with this one here. I was going to start off with Second Ezra, but we'll come back to it. Let's get the book of Hebrews. Hebrews. Let's start at verse 8. Hebrews 11 and 8.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise.
So he dwelt in a land that it would eventually become his, and who will be the owners after him will be Isaac, also Jacob. It was going to be an inheritance for him and his children. He sojourned in that strange land until it was given over to his children, right? Eventually, Jacob inherited that land, and his name changed to Israel. He broke down into 12 tribes, hence the nation of Israel, so-called blacks and Hispanics. But what happened to us in our history is we have been carried from that land. The reason why? Because we broke God's commandments, and we were put out of that land. We were put out of that land because that land was holy. Just like before we got there, you had Canaanites in the land. They were unholy. They did all kind of abomination in the land. The Lord put them out, as it states in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. He put in there a worthy colony, as the Bible states. But when we became unholy, he says, you're no different. You got to go too. So what he did was put in the land that our forefathers never knew, and we worship in the God that our forefathers never knew, and we're in the land we're excommunicated, and now we got here to where we settled, and we think that this is home, sweet home. But God said, we know by what Jerusalem is all about, that place, that new Jerusalem that he's bringing, there is no place like home. And that's the place that we're looking back to go forward to.
That's right.
That's our vision. The Most High tells us, before we go reading down in Hebrews, can we get Micah real quick? What did Micah tell us about this place?
Yeah.
What did he prophesy? Micah 2 and 10. Let's get that real quick.
The book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 10.
Arise
ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
Read it again.
Arise ye and depart.
Arise ye and depart. Depart. Arise ye and depart. Now we know that the Most High, he said he put these curses on us, and he will actually deliver us from these curses. And he will put on these curses upon our enemies. So when he's talking about depart, he's not talking about leaving, because we were supposed to do the same thing in Egypt. We were supposed to flee their gods, not do what they did. We were under their subjection because, again, we failed. We broke God's commandments. He punished us then. But the way we depart now is nothing different than what we did in Egypt. He sent a deliverer to Egypt, that was Moses, and brought them out. Same thing that he's going to do in America. He's going to send his son, Christ, and he's going to redeem us out of this land. So it's nothing different. So when it's telling us to depart, we have to depart from this place mentally. So that way, when the time comes, when it's time to leave, we won't repeat what we were supposed to remember. Remember Lot's wife. We won't repeat the same thing that she did, missing this place like it's home when it's really not. He says, rise and depart, for this is not your rest. Read on.
Because it is polluted.
Because it is what?
Because it is polluted.
Because it is polluted. Read on.
It shall destroy you.
It shall destroy you. This is why God wants us to look at this place. This is only temporarily. We was placed here for just for the moment, for us to learn our lesson. But guess what? The next stop is to Jerusalem. The next stop is Jerusalem. That's what we got to look forward to. We got to understand the only reason why we're over here is because we broke God's commandments, right? You got that one. That's the spirit. You want to read that one? Leviticus
26.
Yes, sir.
Check. Okay. So you said the reason we're here is because we broke God's commandments,
Absolutely.
right? So let's read it out of the Holy Bible. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 40.
Leviticus chapter 26, verse 40. If they shall confess their iniquity.
So now the they is referring to the Israelites. Today, the Israelites are the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. the children of the slave trade. All right. If
they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me.
So we have walked contrary unto the Most High God. Today, how are we doing that? We're celebrating birthdays, Thanksgiving, Halloween. What's coming up now?
Yeah,
Christmas.
Yeah.
This is how we walk contrary to the Most High God, because that's serving other gods. Read on.
And that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies.
So now, I just want to hit that part, because he says he brought us into the land of our enemies. Because we'll ask people, why are we here? Because slavery is big business, or because the so-called white man was able to trick us or outsmart us, or whatever the case may be. But no, the scriptures say the Most High walked contrary to us, and he brought us here.
You know, some people don't even believe that about God. Like, God ain't never walked contrary against nobody. Like, God, people think there's no balance to him. Like, when you do something to upset him, guess what he does? He flood the earth. Like, he'll kill everybody, animals included, just to teach man a lesson. Just because we were given his law, statutes, and commandments. So you think, as a child, as a father would deal with his child, so that would any man deal with his children. God did that with us. We are his children. That's why we were called the children of Israel. So when we broke his commandments, he dealt with us as a father. He walked contrary to us. And we have to understand that, because if we don't look at it like that, we'll just say, well, the devil is doing this. And we repeat this many a times. If we just say the devil is doing it, then we don't really know who's punishing us. So therefore, we won't repent from it, because we'll think this is of the devil. The devil is doing this, and God is trying to bless me, but the devil is in the way. No, God is doing that to you. And then when we understand that, we'll understand, okay, what am I doing against you, God? How do I turn around the curses to receive blessings? And then we'll know, we'll know where to return our repentance to. Because if we just look at the devil, then that doesn't fix anything in us. Right. We just blame the devil. Right. And I heard these things growing up, and I'm pretty sure everybody got that education in their mind. They think that everything that goes wrong is Satan. God said, he killeth, he maketh alive. He maketh sick, he healeth. The Lord do all of these things. Everything, he governed the world in his hand. That's what the Bible tells us. But we're just going back to Hebrews. Let's read that. We got a lot. We got a lot to go over.
Wait. We got to get to the main point. Go ahead, read on in that 41.
Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 41. And that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity.
That's the point. Yeah. We are here as a punishment. This ain't the place for us to be balling out of control. This ain't the place for us to get our picket fence and your little lap dog and all of that stuff.
Right. You mean American Dream?
The American Dream. Right. This is not our rest, as the officer brought out, because this is the place of our punishment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's go back to Hebrews. And let me show you. I didn't think of this until we actually started. But you know how they set up America? When we were brought out of Egypt, right? Matter of fact, I'll pull it. Let's finish Hebrews and then I'll pull it.
Verse 10.
Let me show you how this. I was talking to a soldier of the body, and he was telling me, like, if you look at what America does to other countries besides its own, they'll point out iniquities and others. Like, they'll talk about Hades full of witchcraft and all of this other stuff. But then when you read the Bible, it tells you that America's top in sorcery and top in just witchcraft. Because if you look at it, the way they set things up, they paint themselves as this innocent woman. When the Bible says you are a whore, when it says you are the whore that sitteth upon many waters. They play innocent, but they are behind a lot of schemes that goes on, and everything that's wrong in pretty much 90% of the earth, this country is behind it. And what they have done, which we're gonna get to eventually, they have painted this place like it's the perfect place to be, and they got a lot of us as Israelites entrapped in that, and we think that there can't be nothing beautiful outside of where we're at now. Even though we catch hell, we are in a perfect place to be. Matter of fact, you remember that I'm going to pull that video. That's why I say when we start, I'm going to think of some videos. I got one. But let's go back to Hebrews. I got a video I want to play.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11. Go back to verse 10.
Yes.
Verse 10. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Through faith also.
Go ahead.
Verse 11. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she was judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable.
Talking about Abraham, him in his age, he was saying him in his age, despite of his age, he did bring forth a multitude of children. Those are the people that actually inherit that land. Read on.
These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off.
Read.
And were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth.
This is the part I want to get to. And they confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims in the earth. We are the strangers and the pilgrims on the earth. You know why? Because we are in a place where we actually don't belong. We're strangers to this land. We're pilgrims here. This is only a temporary position that God has put us in. And we're only here for one thing, that is to repent and seek his face 10 times more as it was our intentions to go astray, or as it was for us to go astray.
Right. You know what, Cap? You said temporary position, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what sojourning means. That's what we did. We like in Egypt. We sojourned there. That means we were there temporarily, but it was 400 years.
Yeah, and it might seem like, hey, but that's temporary to God. His time is not yours. He wants you here just long enough so you can see your wrongdoings. 400 years, that was a temporary time to Most High. It was like time to release him. To us, it was like, man, we've been here forever. God said, you don't know how long forever is.
Right.
That's why the Most High calls us a nation not desired. Like, for instance, the land of Puerto Rico and the land of the Dominican Republic. You have so-called Dominicans that are on that land, but they don't own that land. They're just renting it. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, they don't have full control. It's the so-called Dominicans, the tribe of Simeon, don't own that land. They don't make the last decision on what happens on that land, just as an example. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's how you bring that out, because what they did recently, they ran a pipeline through the land that they gave them, right? Yep. Tearing up the land. Like, they have no rights to the land. Again, ain't no place like home. You brothers, so-called Native American Indians, you not home. You might have thought that this land was yours. It was never yours in the first place. You came over here after a captivity. You settled here so you can keep God's commandments. You end up going off, and eventually we came. That's all Bible prophecy. But guess what? You wasn't supposed to be set up here so you could stay here. We was over there in Jerusalem, what they call the Middle East. That's your homeland. Okay, you understand that? We were never meant to be put in this position where we're servants. You think the reservation that they gave you and the few casinos that they gave you, that's all you worth? You worth more than that. This is not your rest. Ain't no place like home. And this is what we desire to get back to. These are the things that we got to ask for in our prayer. Make the time short for the election's sake, so we can get back to that. We are strangers and pilgrims in the land, and that's how we got to look at this thing. There's no such thing as a career. That's what they gave us. There's no such thing as a career in Babylon. They want you to think that way. I got a career, and this is what I'm gonna be doing the rest of my life. You ain't supposed to be thinking like that. No, I got a temporary job placement. I'm gonna go to school and be a doctor. This is a temporary job replacement. Even though you don't work for a temp agency, it's a temporary job, because you know that outside of this, you're not supposed to be working. You know what? Working is actually a curse. Now, we got to do this because God said, since Adam broke my laws, you're going to work for the sweat of your brow. It was never supposed to be like this.
Right.
Well, again, we're going to get into all of that. Right now, we're just breaking ice with it. Let's read on. Oh, you got it? Oh, hold on. We're going to play it. Let's read on.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 14. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country.
Now, when I said this too, because I remember before, it was a while back, and you had certain people that would say, quit your jobs because Christ is coming back. That's not what we're saying. What I'm saying is they gave us the term career so you can look at it as long term. This is what you're supposed to be. This is your life. This is what you're supposed to be doing here. What I'm saying is it's all temporary. When you go to a school for a career, it's only temporary because we don't know when Christ will show up. So don't expect to make a living and stay in that position. When Christ shows up, he's going to put you in your order you're supposed to be in. You understand that? So if you're pursuing the career of a doctor, guess what? When we get in Jerusalem, we wouldn't have a need for a doctor. It says everybody will be here. There'll be no more sickness. So when does that career end? When Christ shows up. There ain't no place like home. Once again, all of this has an ending. Let's read on.
Verse 15. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out.
Read 14.
Verse 14. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country.
And they that say such things, what such things? That we are just strangers and pilgrims in this earth. And they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. We seek a country, and it's not this one. It's not the one that they say we're gonna make it great again. No, this is not the one. Read on.
And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country.
We desire a better country. We're going to read about this better country. We're going to read about the difference between the country that we're in and the country that we're actually going to. Read on.
That is, and heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God. For he hath prepared for them a city.
And he hath prepared for them a city. Now, you got the video? You send it to them?
Pull up that last video, the very bottom video, and then I want to touch on what you just said about education, because careers. I want to touch on that because that's a very interesting point that you made about what's going to happen in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And what's going on now.
Right.
So let's go ahead and play that video, though, Cap.
What's wrong with you voting for Barack Obama? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy. Black people, let me tell y'all something. If you don't ever hear me say preach again, they can kill me tomorrow. But let me tell you something. We're not going to ever get anywhere until we look into the mind of a black man. He doesn't think correctly. I don't care what he is. He can be a doctor. He can be an astrophysicist. The nigga ain't got no sense. You talk to him. You talk to a black man. He doesn't understand the world. He's never built anything. The most the black people have ever done, they did it in America under white people's help. When they were in Africa, they didn't do nothing. Black people had Africa, that big old continent over there. They never built one boat that was seaworthy. Not one. There's not one monument in Africa, in all of Africa. I know you're talking about Egypt. Egypt is not Africa. There are no great cities that were built. Even before the first colonization of white people coming to the shores of Africa or the slave ships, black men built nothing. No sewer system, no houses above one level. And none of them made out of stone. All of them made out of grass and wood. Black men. Before the white man ever got to Africa. The worst thing that could ever happen to South Africa was when they gave it to Nelson Mandela and black folk. That was a great nation. Now, notwithstanding apartheid was wrong. We all know it's wrong. I'm against it. There should have been some other resolution, though. They're turning it over to Nelson Mandela.
Oh, hell. You know what? This guy, he just struck a nerve. let me just get two verses real quick.
Absolutely.
Let me get Amos chapter 6, please, officer. All right, because this is an example of a so-called black man that is comfortable living in America.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Amos chapter 6, verse 1.
The book of Amos, chapter 6, verse 1. Woe to them that are at ease in Zion.
Read it again.
Woe to them that are at ease in Zion.
God says destruction to you that are comfortable living in America. Woe to you that are comfortable living or thinking that you're going to achieve the American dream. Okay? Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. That drink wine bowls and anoint themselves with the chief ointments, but they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph.
They are not what?
But they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph.
This brother right here, he's not grieved on the afflictions that the so-called blacks and Hispanics went through in America. For him to make that statement that blacks never built anything, you have to read Exodus, the 1st chapter. Okay? Because we served under bondage in various captivities through hard labor and sweat, blood, sweat, and tears. So woe to our leaders who are comfortable here in America.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And it shows right here that this is not the first time it happened. You know, we trust in oppression. We trusted in Egypt. We didn't want to leave Egypt. And now we trusted in America. And this is what happened. Now, can you get Matthew 6:24? This is what Christ was trying to show us. By this verse, where I want to read this real quick. This is what Christ was trying to show us. And this is an example. This is a prime example of what we just watched.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve two masters.
No man can serve two masters. Read.
For either he will hate the one and love the other.
Read.
Or else he will hold to the one.
Or else he will hold to the one.
And despise the other.
Read.
Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
So when it comes down to believing it, when it comes down to where you want to be, because we know we're supposed to be in Jerusalem. And what the Bible tells us is we have to escape. We have to come out of her. Come out of her ways, separate from her, and just depart, because this is not our rest. If you find yourself loving this place and calling this place your home, you're going to despise where we're going. You're not going to want to leave this place. You read different examples when you read in the book of Exodus, people wanted to go back into Egypt. It's like, I'd rather go back over there. It was easy over there. Right. I don't know where we're going, but I don't care where we're going, because right now it ain't benefiting me. I had more of what I had in Egypt than what I have now. I don't care where we're going. I just know that I'm not comfortable. So you would love one and despise the other. If you don't see this place as your fall and you see this place as home, you're going to hate where you're going. You're going to despise the coming of Christ. You're going to want to make this place you're going to want to make this place a living for you. You're not going to see that you're going to speak of evil against oppression. You're going to speak evil of oppression. Just like this brother is doing, saying that black people never created nothing, and you was nothing in Africa. You never created anything. You will love one and hate the other.
Right.
Where's all the history he's missing? We created so much over here. The filament for the light bulb, the traffic light, the elevator doors, and the peanut machine. This is all small inventions. You know, the telephone, the refrigerator.
Hey Cap, he trying to tell you might have made it, but the white man put the patent, so he's smarter than you. That's what he's trying to get.
You're gonna love one and hate the other. If you don't love your people, you're gonna love them over yours. This is the problem with this country. It's made for you to fall. It created people to think that way right there. This is why we have to leave.
That's the Negro that was created in the lab right there.
Yeah, that's what Deacon Yabasal was talking about.
This is an example of a brother that's ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth.
Ah, man.
Hey, right. I just want to get one right quick. Also, to back up that point, Genesis 30, verse 27. Because we know that our forefather Jacob served Laban, right? 20 years, right? He served him for 2 wives, his daughters, his cattle, all of that for 30 years. And just like today, the so-called white man will say, go back to Africa, but they don't really want us to go anywhere.
No, not at all.
Okay? So don't believe that for a minute that they want us to leave. We're just going to get one of many examples of the other nations not wanting us to leave. They understand that they are blessed by us being in their presence. Okay, so I just want to read this. Genesis chapter 30, verse 27.
The book of Genesis chapter 30, verse 27. And Laban said unto him.
I'm sorry. Start at verse 26.
26. Verse 26. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go. For thou knowest my service which I have done thee.
So he said, you know the service which I have performed for you. Right? Go ahead.
And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry.
Tarry, stay. If I have found favor in thy eyes, stay with me. Go ahead.
For I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake.
All the nations are blessed because of us.
There you go.
So don't believe nothing that these foolish coon pastors are saying about trying to put that low self-esteem on us as if we have nothing to contribute. We are the greatest people.
You know, there's a documentary that you all should check out. Those of you that's listening in. There's a documentary called The 13th Amendment. You got to watch it. You got to watch it. In that documentary, it tells you that, you already know, a lot of our people fill the prison houses, so-called blacks and Hispanics. We fill up their prison cells. If you look at what they are doing to our brothers in the prison system, a lot of them are making clothes for Macy's. I think Macy's, Marshalls.
Yeah.
The chairs.
Cents on a dollar. Somebody close to me actually, from experience, emphasized that. They help build things like Victoria's Secret.
Victoria's Secret.
They not even 30 cents on a dollar.
Even the fire.
The
fire that's going on in California. They're taking the Israelites out of the prison and turning them into firefighters to go out and fight the fire.
Man, you see that? I didn't even know that. They don't want us to leave this place.
No, they don't want us to leave.
They just like the lady. I forget her name when she told LeBron, "Just shut up and dribble. Just don't talk about it. I don't want to hear it. We know y'all are unjustly. We know that y'all catching hell. Y'all are here to serve us. That's it. This is y'all fault anyway. Just shut up and dribble. Stop talking about it.
Right. You just said it. They want us here to serve them, to be the labor force, make them laugh.
Yeah.
Be the guinea pig. So we need a new medication. So get the guinea pigs out. That's what they want us here for. So they don't want us to go anywhere. But I wanted to touch on what you said about the education or they steering us into whatever fields.
Right.
That they try to sell us a dream. Like one of the things they sell the young people on, and it's been going on for years because I remember I got into it. Go to the military, and at the end you'll get an education.
Right.
Right. And they really stress the education part. They don't stress that you might get killed in battle representing the stars and stripes, the eagle. They just stress the education part, right? The GI Bill at the end to get you a house, right?
Right.
Got something on that. But I want you to pull up at the very bottom, the last two, what I just sent over there. The one, put that one up. I think that's the right one. Put that up. I want everybody to see this before we read it. This goes into the educational system. Yeah, can you blow that up?
Somebody mentioned something about Haiti. Go there and see what was built. Lord's will, I get to take a trip over there. I know our people are very creative. You think of all the talent that we have. Imagine we were back home. We was able to build these same things all the effort that we put into this country. Imagine we were back home. We was building there would be no oppression. We can literally, it'll be peaceful over there. Just think about the stuff that we created over here. We can make life so much easier over there without them actually using us, like you said, as guinea pigs. And our labors just go unmentioned. We are just a burden in America. But when we're really aiding this place. If we leave this place is done. Just like when we left Egypt, the Egyptians man, if we leave them off and building, this place gonna go back to ruin. I think we made a bad decision. Despite of what has been destroyed, we can't let these people go.
Exactly.
Egypt, look at it. It's not finished. We got to go get these people. They need us here.
Okay, scroll that out just a little bit. So we know when we read in among other places, Deuteronomy 4, Deuteronomy 6, how we have been commanded. Our forefathers were commanded to teach the children, the children's children, God's commandments. We didn't do that.
Right.
Which is why we're here. But let's see what the so-called white man had planned for us. This is out of a book about the Jim Crow South. Let's read that.
It says, in public schools, segregation remained complete and unbroken throughout the South, although it extended into other states as well. During the Jim Crow years, segregation was required by law in the schools of 17 states, concentrated in the South and in Southwest and in the District of Columbia. It was permitted by local option in 4 states. Scroll up a little bit. And prohibited by law in only 16. The remaining states had no laws on the subject. Florida, Oklahoma, Kansas, Tennessee, and other states passed laws making it illegal for white and black children to attend the same schools. They promised fines and imprisonment for anyone who dared break the law. Scroll up. In Kansas, the law extended to private schools as well. Georgia law accomplished its goal by stating that no teacher receiving or teaching white and colored pupils in the same school shall be allowed any compensation at all out of the common funds.
Look at that. You see that if you got caught teaching black students, basically, in any racially what they call integrated schools, you wasn't getting paid. That's volunteer work. Just consider yourself doing volunteer work.
That's crazy. Hey, we wouldn't be dealing with this back in Jerusalem.
We won't be dealing with it.
Tell you that. We'll be getting our history.
That's right.
Everything that belongs to us, it be taught to us. Like in schools now, like you look at America, America's a jacked up system when you think about it. Even the other nations agree with this. I was watching a video on YouTube. It was an Edomite. It was a white man. He was talking about if you look at the school system, like they really have to throw out a lot of history because America's so integrated to where you have people coming into the school, they can't teach just they can't teach just white history. You're gonna have Chinese children going back and complaining and talking about I'm not learning nothing about myself. You're gonna have Ishmaelite or Arab children going back home, I'm not learning anything about. So you have to get rid of history and just teach pretty much just dumb, nothing that really matters. You're gonna have to go and teach something that relates to everybody, and you don't really get something that pertains to you. This is why it was never supposed to be mingled together. When we had schools, we taught about, look, this is who you are. This is who your fathers are. This is the laws. We had education that pertained to us. Now we're integrated and nothing is being taught. We're not getting the potent history that we're supposed to be getting. This is why these schools are like boarding schools. The churches are like boarding schools. You're being taught how to be a robot in the society. Guess what? We won't be getting this back in Jerusalem.
Hey,
no, we won't.
you remember when we was at the other school and we went next door in Northern Kingdom store and he was listening to the American history and he was listening to a recording?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's about to take a citizenship test. Because my family members have taken it before and I'm like, that's the same verbiage.
Yep.
They're just being indoctrinated, being force-fed, and it's nothing to do with his history. All the white man's history, how he made America great and everything.
You have to be forced to learn somebody else's history outside of yours. Even though they get rid of it, right now, that's why they talk about is get rid of the slavery talk in school. Yeah. They're trying to get rid of it. Anything that relates to a specific culture, they try to get rid of it. They want to teach you American history.
They actually did get rid of it.
They already did.
Before I put my daughters out of school, so-called Black History Month, they was learning Greek history.
And now they putting Satanism. They ain't got no problem with that. And they take the Bible out and you can learn about Satan. And my 2 dads.
That's why the Most High said, if we went back and joined unto these nations,
it'd be
it'd be a snare unto us, right? Go ahead and finish that.
It says, in other words, one might teach an integrated class, but could not expect to be paid for doing so.
Bring up the other part so we can finish that. The one that's right below that. So now that we saw that, let's see how they were going to steer us into certain fields. Just read the highlighted part. Let's highlight part.
Blow it up a little bit. It says, scroll down. It says the Negro isn't permitted to advance, and their education only spoils a good field hand and makes a shyster lawyer or a fourth-rate teacher. It is money thrown away.
Because this was the attitudes of why they didn't want us to have higher education, right? Go ahead, read on.
This attitude flourished throughout the South, resulting not only in the complete separation of white students and teachers from their black counterparts, but also in the custom of decidedly inferior instruction and opportunity for black students.
Inferior instruction and opportunity for black students. We still see that today in the school systems, right? Even though they're allegedly integrated, the local black high school in our neighborhoods compared to the schools and the other neighborhoods, you might have one or two computers. You know, before we were using computers, books were hard to come by. And then you might have a second or third edition where the other schools are on the fifth edition. You know?
Go ahead. You know, another thing too, what they do now, I've seen it. I've seen it in the high school that I went. You had a lot of brothers that play on the football field in the football arena and they sports period. And teacher would just pass them up. They get bad grades, be failing and all because they want the school to look good. They don't care about these brothers' education. They just pass them up in grades.
Right.
And then when they get out of high school, they get injured or whatever, then they go back to the streets because football was never something that actually it made you smart. It was just running the football field. But when you couldn't do that anymore, okay, I don't know how to do nothing else. I wasn't taught nothing else. That's why a lot of these entertainers, when they get out of the football field, they get off the basketball court, they don't know what to do with their life. After that, it's like, what else can I do? I don't know manual labor. I don't know how to be self-sufficient. It's bad when they try to steer us into the field of just running the football or dribbling the basketball. They want us dumbed down. It's poor education. And what the reason for the show, a topic like this, is to show you everything that's going wrong or everything that's wrong about this country. This is why we have to tell people, look, it's something greater than this. Like Donald Trump said, we living in the S-hole country.
Right.
That's what we living in. He talking about Puerto Rico. No, this is the one.
Yeah, right here.
This is
right here.
It's this one. You don't got nothing else to lose. It's time to go.
Go ahead, read on.
And because we don't learn really anything while we're in these schools and they're playing these sports, that's why so many entertainers and so many athletes, once they're done, they blow through that money. Right. You got guys who's making over $100 million going broke because they don't know, they've not learned how to be self-sufficient. They haven't learned how to manage their money or manage their lives outside of running that football, shooting that basketball.
Excellent point. And they can't read the contract, so a lot of these managers, they screw them over.
Exactly.
Say, yeah, you trust me, you're going to come out on top. Don't worry about it. You sign right here.
Don't worry about what this is saying. Just go ahead and sign. You're going to make a lot of money.
You know,
and afterwards, they take that money. They invest their money in stuff that they want. And then when they leave, they don't have any money left for themselves.
You know, I want to bring this out. If he wouldn't have put it out there himself, I wouldn't have said it. But our brother, Robert Kelly, R. Kelly, as you know him, he said that in one of his songs. He says, I admit that I can't read. A lot of the stuff he was saying that he was taking advantage of. He didn't know how to read. A lot of the stuff that he pretty much was moving to these different positions. They took advantage of him. When he was just good for his talent. They used that to say you can get somewhere. You just do what you do. Get on that mic and say what you got to say. We'll handle all the money. So now he's actually going through. He's waking up and actually seeing these things. But he admitted to everybody. He's put in the song that I admit I cannot read. Same thing with another brother that put it out there. Mayweather said the same thing. He can't manage his money. So a lot of these brothers in these positions because they're being taken advantage of. And this is exactly where they wanted it. This is why we're not supposed to be here.
Right.
And it's evident. It's evident. And God pulling all of this stuff out because he wants us to see, look, this place ain't where you're supposed to be. You only going to catch hell on every side. The straight and narrow path is what you be supposed to be following. This is the fire and this is the water on every side. This is a great place to fall, as the book of Ezra states.
And what we're reading here is Deuteronomy 28:48. That's what we're reading to make it plain for the listeners. Go ahead, finish that.
It says, in spite of these obstacles, however, some blacks struggled through the black educational system and became doctors, lawyers, and teachers. Scroll up. But the majority of blacks experience an educational system designed by whites.
It was what?
Designed by whites to keep them in the fields and in the kitchens.
So the reason that a lot of us end up the way we are, it's a design. It's what a lot of our brothers and sisters say, systematic oppression. Okay. So when we hear some of those that do make it of our people say, you got to do like me, I pulled myself up by the bootstraps.
Yeah, that's what they say.
You know, that's to try to make us feel inferior again. Just like what the pastor was saying. You know, we ain't never made nothing. We needed the white man. No, that is not true. And that's never been true.
You know, there's another video. While you were saying that, I was thinking of the video. Remember the race when they had? I wish we could find that video. You know what I'm talking about?
You remember that?
The race, I know
what you're talking about.
The track that was running around, and the different things that was set up in that way. That's where we could pull a video. It's a video that actually gives you a visual on it's an animated visual of what we're talking about. We'll get it shortly.
You know what's funny? It was brought to our attention a while ago, tech team. The fields in the kitchen. Every fast food restaurant, well, who do you see in there?
Right.
Who do you see in every fast food restaurant? From in high school, you flipping burgers. And then you hopefully, I'm going to hopefully go to college, get a degree. Degree later, you still in the fast food restaurant flipping burgers. Barely a manager.
Can you read that last sentence again?
That last sentence?
Yeah.
It says, but the majority of blacks experience an educational system designed by whites.
Stop. Our educational system, the public schools, is designed by the Edomites, correct?
Yep.
All right, keep reading.
To keep them in the fields and in the kitchens.
When you look at the difference between our public schools and the public schools that are in these Edomite communities, our children are being taught to be servers and consumers, workers and consumers, while their children are taught to be CEOs. So when you look at the difference of the education that we receive versus what they receive, it's pointed out right there. Whites to keep them in the field and in the kitchen, to keep you in a servitude position.
Right.
You're taught to clean up and pick up after them, do the work that they don't want to do, and the little bit of money that you do make, you're taught to go out and spend that on worthless items.
That's a perfect segue, officer, into the next video. I want you to pull that last video I just put on there, because we know that money doesn't last in our community, right? We as soon as we get money, it goes right back into the hands of our oppressors. That's part of that being cursed in the city. We do not have enough businesses to sustain us as a nation. So I got a video for that, that's pulling that same point right there.
Somebody asked what book were you just reading?
I'll get that book in just a second.
Hey, officer, let me back you up on what you just said about how we make the money, but it really doesn't last us. It goes right back into the pockets of the Edomites, the so-called white man, and the government of America. Real quick, let's get Proverbs 23:4. We're going to read Proverbs 23:4 and 5.
If you could, just share this book. This book right here, it's called The Life Under Jim Crow Laws. Like, who read it? Who's that? The author of it? I can't see it on maybe inside. It says The Life Under Jim Crow Laws. That's the name of the book. Okay, he's going to get the author of the actual book in a few minutes. But it's called The Life Under Jim Crow Laws. You got it, officer.
Go ahead. Proverbs 23:4.
Charles George. The Life Under Jim Crow Laws by Charles George. Okay.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 23 and verse 4. Labor not to be rich.
Do what?
Labor not to be rich.
Labor not to be rich. We're not supposed to, or we can't have the mentality that we are going to be rich in this country. We can't have the mentality that we are going to have the American dream in this country. Continue on.
Cease from thine own wisdom.
Do what?
Cease from thine own wisdom.
We have to cease from our own wisdom, because when we rely on our own wisdom, we come up with the thought that America is the place of rest. We come up with the thought that America is our homeland. Like, this is where we are going to make it and be successful. But that is not the case, thus saith the Lord. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not?
So are you going to set your eyes upon that which is not valuable for your salvation, valuable for the uplifting of your people? Read on.
For riches certainly make themselves wings.
So riches certainly make themselves wings and do what?
They fly away as an eagle toward heaven.
So that's just letting you know that right here in this American society, this is not our home. This is not the place where we're going to receive or gain high financial status, okay? We may have some of our entertainers and actors and so forth that may be rich, but there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy, because those riches, they fly away as an eagle, as the scripture said.
You know what's another heavy thing about that, officer, is the fact that in a lot of our churches here in America, they keep selling us on that dream, and they call it a prosperity doctrine.
Yeah, your season is coming.
Right, and it only seems to be one person's season constantly.
Yeah, you just get drought.
But let me read this one, and then we're going to go to this video. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. This is how we know that this is not our rest. And we're going to get into it a little later on, that all these riches, they got an ultimate place that they coming back to.
Oh, yeah.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich.
So who has the power to give you riches? Read that again.
The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich.
So it's only by the Most High. I mean, when we look through our history, you look at as far as, and I don't want to just look at it in financial ways, but from a lowly estate to a high estate.
Yeah.
King David. He was bought from a low estate to a high estate. Even Saul said, I'm the least of my father's house in the tribe of Benjamin, from a low estate to a high estate. So we need to come away from chasing after the white man's dreams and the American dream.
Exactly.
That's envying our oppressor. All right, let's go ahead and play this video right quick. Let's see what happens to the money when we chasing the money.
Graph that stated that the black community only keep the money within the community only 6 hours. That's it. When other communities circulated 2 weeks, 21 days, 28 days, I'm pretty sure you know that by the math. I think whites are 14 days, not mistaken. I think who's the last one was Asians. I think Jewish people 21 days, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure you saw that graph. Now, it's so bad with our consumption that, when some of the racists say, you all need to go back to Africa, I said, let me tell you something. All of us go back to Africa today. This country's economy will fall. Because that's how much money we spend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, people say that black people don't have the ability to create their own jobs, and that's just not. Or they don't have the ability to create jobs, but that's not true. Actually, we create a lot of jobs for other people. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about this a lot. If you read Powernomics, things like that. Basically, black people are compared to the wildebeest in Africa. He has a perfect analogy where he says that every year, the massive wildebeest migration, it's an amazing thing to watch. It's literally millions of wildebeest going across Africa. He said when the wildebeest are going across Africa, all the predators line up because they know that it's going to be time to eat. They know that when the wildebeest come through, they're going to, the alligators, the lions, everybody is ready to eat. And black people are the same way. When we get money, we don't hold money. We don't keep money in our community. We are looking to find the closest white man that we can give our money to. And we don't care if he's white, Asian, or Arab, or whatever. We'll just give the money away because we're not really thinking that long-term thing. Listen to how people talk about their taxes. Every year when they get their taxes, what do they talk about? Oh, as soon as I get my taxes, I'm gonna get the new blank, right? Yeah, and that's a cultural thing. You see, that's the thing people don't understand is that wealth building or wealth losing, if you want to call it that, or wealth deterioration, it all comes from culture and mindset. You know, for example, in Asian culture, saving is huge. You don't go blow your money and throw it up at the club. People gonna look at you like you stupid. So that's why Japanese people. Say it again.
Because you are stupid. Exactly.
So Japanese people, Chinese people, they have some of the highest savings rates in the world because that's just part of their culture. Period. Mm-hmm. African Americans, unfortunately, our culture is throwing money away. You know, and so ultimately we have to confront the culture and the mentality. So that means, in my opinion, when you see somebody bragging about how much money they threw away, you need to just call it out. Like, that's stupid. You know, like really, or even when I talk about the whole baby daddy thing, you know, with guys making 10, 12 kids, I'm like, if that's your son, tell him that he's stupid. Jump in his, excuse my friend, you know, jump on his case for that. Like, don't just sort of act like it's okay just because that's your cousin. Because that's the thing, black folks, we don't like to critique each other. We don't like to challenge each other. You know, and I think that that's to our detriment. It's all about the culture, man. And the last example I'll give on culture is this. Japan was obliterated in World War II. They dropped, that was the only places they dropped atomic bombs in the world. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, gone. 20 years later, Japan becomes once again one of the great economic powerhouses in the world. Why? Because they have a culture that is built on structuring businesses, on working hard, on keeping your money, on developing your institutions. So you can't keep Japan down because they're going to keep rebuilding just because. You know, and that's what we have to do as a people.
But in order for us to rebuild with our
So there was a lot to that. There's a lot on that. I just want to focus on the part that he said, we are the prey. And compared us to the wildebeest coming in every season during that time when the watering holes are filled.
The animals line up.
And all the animals know they about to eat.
Yep.
Just like, wait a minute, just like Thanksgiving.
Right.
All the other nations know they're about to eat. Christmas, the other nations know they're about to eat.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
You know, it's heavy about Black Friday because, you know, as it says in Lamentations, it says that they hunt our steps. So in a way, them hunting our steps, they'll put out a new pair of Jordans the day before Black Friday. So that way we can be in position where we can display hatred towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, officer, you in the spirit. Because you know what I seen yesterday? A stampede of wildebeest, our people, breaking in there for some new Air Jordans that came out like 10 times already. The same color. Yep. The same exact color. They came out 10 different times already. And they literally broke through a door, trampled over people. Some of them even left their shoes on the floor, left their clothes on the floor, just to get a brand new pair of Air Jordans.
Damn. And, you know, we could say to ourselves, like, damn, y'all fighting for something that I outgrew.
Damn.
You know, I was listening to a breakdown of how they do this Black Friday, Cyber Monday. They were saying that what these stores literally do, they already had TVs that was marked down, price in the back. It was just in the back. They was not selling. So what they do, like Black Friday, they just put them out in the front and act like this was the new item that they could now sell. And look how low we marked it. That stuff was old. That stuff is outdated. It was sitting in the back. Nobody wanted it. They put it in the back because it wasn't selling. And now Black Friday, you think you got the new hottest item. And that's all they want to do is get that out their store because it's tax time. It's time to write that stuff off. And what you're doing is you're just getting it tax free. That's all. That's it. You're not getting it marked down. You're getting it tax free. And it's a couple dollars off and you think you got a great deal. And then the couple days before this is a meal. Thank you for everything you got. But tomorrow, you better not touch that TV. I just want to let you know. But now it's Thanksgiving. When you touch that TV tomorrow, it's on. Man, they got us in the trap.
But them just taking the saying tax-free, you save maybe $8 or $9.
Is it?
Is another way of them putting us right back to sleep, and us having the mentality again that America ain't that bad.
Yeah, this home sweet home. I'm glad you said that. That's the point I want to get back to. The sorcery that America has done. When you look at, let's get Deuteronomy. When you look at how God set up Jerusalem, Israel, once we got there, this is how they set America up. I'm going to show you the comparison. This is how they set America up. I'm going to show you this real quick. Give me the book of Deuteronomy. I think it's 14. Maybe, let me see. No, not 14. Not 14. Let me find it. I got to flip through it. You're going to plant vineyards. You're going to drink wells that you have not planted. It's my... Yes, 6. Chapter 6. It's right here. It's chapter 6. Chapter 6. Read verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 1. Now these are the commandments.
I'm sorry. This goes back to what you were just reading too in Deuteronomy 14. We can link these two together.
Says, now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord your God commanded to teach you, that ye might do them in the land whither ye go to possess it, that thou mightest fear the Lord thy God, to keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command thee.
Yep.
Thou and thy son and thy son's son all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as the Lord God of thy fathers has promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey.
And a land that floweth with milk and honey. It's talking about prosperous. Now, let's take a look real quick at verse 10.
Verse 10. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not.
He was going to place us in the land of Israel where we were going to inhabit houses that we have not built, read.
And houses full of all good things.
Houses full of all good things.
Which thou fillest not.
And things that you ain't even put in the house, they were now yours. Read on.
And wells digged, which thou diggedest not.
And wells dig, where you were able to drink water, which thou diggest not. Read.
Vineyards and olive trees, which thou plantest not. When thou shalt have eaten and be full, then beware lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
So he said he was going to give you all of these things, but be mindful that you don't forget the Lord. So you know what America looked at when they seen stuff like this in our history? We need to set it up so nice where food is cheap, houses are ready to move in. They built in 4 months or whatever. Just put houses up, put a house there, put a house there, and let's get this place where it's comfortable for them, and they can get all the money. They can go to places outside their communities and get food so good, cheap, and they can make a living to where when they look at these things, they can forget their God and they can forget about looking from elsewhere. So they can live somewhere else. They want to be here and they would rather be nowhere else. So we got to make America as comfortable as it is. And then when they look at oppression, you'll say it's not that bad, because if you look at the stuff that we have the iPhone, we got the PlayStation, we got the new TV, the new smart TV that come out. They got to make this place as comfortable as they can. It's like taking the sheep and you fatten it up for the kill. You just feeding it all of the good food and you waiting for the day of kill. That's what they're doing with us in this land. They're giving us everything that we want so we can forget our God. They made this place comfortable as it is. You ain't supposed to see oppression on the daily. So again, this is what they do. You'll see oppression, and then there's something new will come out, a new iPhone. Like you look at what the brothers did when they put their jerseys on backwards. Then they dropped the new PlayStation. We got PlayStation 4 around that time. I think Xbox 60 something.
They played that basketball game though. So what was the point?
They still played the basketball game.
And you know what? The NBA 2K will come out and they'll be comfortable because the jerseys are on the right way.
Bring it out.
Oh, man. Let me get real quick. 2nd Ezra 16 and 21.
Gracious. Why you had to say that to him like that? You had to give it to him like that. That's
2nd Ezra chapter 16 verse 21. Going into what you said, Captain, how things are so cheap so we can be put back to sleep. Read that, officer.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 21. Behold, victuals shall be sold. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth.
So victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth. You know what I'm saying? Our people are comfortable. That's why every time, when you in the urban area of a city or what we call the so-called ghetto,
Yeah.
you're gonna see a McDonald's, you're gonna see a lot
Burger
of fast
King.
food restaurants, you're gonna see a Family Dollar,
Yeah.
you're gonna have stores where things are sold cheap.
Yeah.
Read on.
That they shall think themselves to be in good case.
So they'll think themselves to be in a good case.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home. It ain't that bad. Go ahead.
And even then shall evils grow upon the earth.
Go ahead.
Sword, famine, and great confusion.
Now they're confused. That's why it's called mystery. Babylon the Great, because they think that this place is good, so no evil could come in their mind that is attached with America.
And then when you look at all of these restaurants that are set up in our communities, it's bad food. You go to the places where they upscale, you don't see McDonald's. You see all these fancy restaurants where they sell good food. You see Whole Foods. Then you come in our neighborhoods, you see the neighborhood Walmarts and stuff like that. You go to you get the Krogers. You got all of these. What's the new Aldens? Aldis. And then you go to our community. We got Save-A-Lot, Bravo, all this stuff with bad meat. You look at the communities that they put us in. You think that it's for your benefit because subs are cheap. But no, once it's done from Walmart, and Walmart is upscale too. So they got somewhat upscale. Once they're done with Walmart, they say, hey, Bravo, we got a deal. You can come buy this meat. It's about to go out of business. It's about to go bad. So come pick it up and y'all can sell it. They'll mark it
You know
down.
what's funny about Save-A-Lot? It's cheap there, but you know what? You got to buy the bags.
Yeah.
I always wondered about that. Why?
And you getting that USDA grade D meat as opposed to, like Cap said, the good meat in the other neighborhood. You get the worst meat out there, and it's put in your community. That's why it's so cheap.
You got to buy it today.
Yeah, buy the
Or it's bad.
Right. And you know what? We wouldn't have to deal with in Jerusalem. We wouldn't have to worry about checking the back of every product, seeing if it's gelatin or pork gelatin or beef gelatin. Back in Jerusalem, everything will be pure. Everything will be right. Now our meat is defiled. That's another thing we won't have to deal with. You won't have to worry about them putting a red light. That's another thing I heard. It was crafty with putting a red light over meat so it look healthy.
Yeah. Right.
Then when you get home, that thing changing colors. Like what? Maybe it was me. Maybe I left it out too long. Maybe I took too long to get from the store to the home. No, it was that bad meat you bought. They sold you that mess.
Hey, I want to back what you said up because, like what you just said, Cap, these things now are given to us here in our captivity. And then when they're going to be taken away and we get in that wilderness, I want to show you that what the scriptures say, things written aforetime were written for our learning, right? So I want to show something that's already happened. All right. Exodus chapter 16, verse 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 1.
Because like you said, Deuteronomy 28:48 says that we would depend on these other nations for the one of all things. So a lot of times our housing, food vouchers, things of that nature that we are given. And then what does it do? It makes us complacent and comfortable in captivity. Go ahead, read that.
Exodus chapter 16, verse 1. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt.
So now, wait a minute. The 15th day of the second month. So we roughly about 45 days, 7 weeks from coming out of Egypt. Right? Let's see what happened.
And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
Read on.
And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full.
You see that? We had everything.
We sat by the meat. We sat by the flesh pots. We ate bread till we was full. That's what you just pulled.
Man, you took me away from Ryan's. You took me away from what's some other ones that we
took me away from
Golden Corral.
I get 20 nuggets for $2. Took me away from all that. 2 for $5. I can go to Checkers and get 2 for $5.
We wasn't even gone 2 full months, and we was complaining.
Go to McDonald's and load up. Get all kinds of food. I can get a grocery. I can fill up my refrigerator from McDonald's with $20. Took me from all of that.
Moses and Aaron took us away from the dollar menu.
Get a cheeseburger for $1.
Hey, will you finish with that, officer?
Go ahead.
Hey, just jump back a chapter. Go to Exodus 14 and 11. Because when we read in Revelation 11 and 8 that America's spiritual Egypt. So let's read this in the context on how our people think today the same way they thought back in Egypt. Yep. Exodus 14 and 11.
Exodus chapter 14, verse 11. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness?
Has you taken us away from celebrating Christmas, from celebrating New Year's, from celebrating birthdays? Now, a lot of our people, they think, now I got to keep these commandments. I can't do that no more. I can't spend time with my family no more. Read on.
Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt?
So why are you telling us that I can't enjoy my Thanksgiving ham? I can't enjoy celebrating my birthday, taking my kids trick-or-treating. Why you dealt with us like this? Read verse 12.
Verse 12. Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt?
Read.
Saying, let us alone.
Leave me alone. Let me continue being comfortable in America, celebrating their holidays. Right. Leave me alone, Moses. Read.
That we may serve the Egyptians.
That we may serve the Egyptians. That we may continue to serve the Americans, work for them, be comfortable with their paycheck.
They ain't all bad.
Read on.
For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
Oh, it would have been better for us to continue having the philosophy of pursuing the American dream than we should keep God's commandments.
Man, I got a video for you.
Hey, I liked it when you told me it was my season for 35 years straight.
Hey, it's been foul weather for 35 years.
I got a video for you. I'm about to post it. What you just said, somebody repeated it in a different way. I'm gonna post this on the group right here. Play this real quick.
I hope it ain't Kanye West.
Nah. This is another pastor. I don't know what.
And while you get that video up, let's open up the phone lines. You want to open up the phone lines?
Yeah, we can open up the phone lines.
Okay, let's open up the phone lines. 407-545-4624.
Let me go out to New York and talk to.
Call in, tell us your story on how you're not in Kansas anymore. Like, how is this not the place for you? We don't think we're in Kansas anymore. So let us know what goes. Let us know your experience and your stay here in America. How has this place benefited you? And are you ready to go home? Call in and let us know what you're tired of seeing in this country and what we will actually see when we get in a place called home, like Jerusalem. Well, we don't see our poor in the street. When we see people on the street, they're actually fed, because do you know there's laws in the Bible where it tells you couldn't totally glean the field of if you had a vineyard, you couldn't totally glean the field that you was actually growing on, because you had to leave some behind for the poor. Those are the type of laws that we are going to establish back in Jerusalem. So we wouldn't have the same problems that we have in America. Our laws are greater than in this country. So when we get back to on the other side where the grass is greener, we won't have to deal with the issues that we're dealing with in America. All right, so we're going to open up the phone lines. The call-in number is 407-545-4624. Again, the call-in number is 407-545-4624. Call in and let us know, how are you enjoying your stay here at Babylon the Great? Let's play this.
Play the video.
The first time caller, Asmaram. Asmaram, welcome to the show. Thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. My
How you?
Is, why do you feel the need to kowtow to white supremacists?
And what do you mean?
You said, and I quote, you said exactly about slavery. Thank God and white people for slavery. That is something white supremacists would say. Why do you feel the need to kowtow to them?
And why is it that I'm kowtowing down to them by saying what
Shalom, caller. Welcome to the Lionz Den. What's your name? What's your comment or question?
Hold on, brother. Give me 1 second. Bring whatever you hearing that on up closer so we can at least hear it. Unless you can play it somewhere else. Is playing on that? Hold on 1 second. We're trying to get the audio straight. We can hear you, but barely. We're trying to get it straight on this side where we can hear you clearly. Give us 1 second. How do we fix that? Is it possible to fix that? All right, go ahead, brother. Speak again.
Hey, brother Will, call right back. Call right back because we want to hear what your comment is.
Call right back in, brother. We can only hear you on one speaker. We couldn't hear you clearly, so call back in when you get a chance.
407-545-4624.
Do me a favor, somebody that's watching in, type that number on the bottom of the screen so they can also see it. For those of you that are watching here in the school, 545-4624. All right, so let's do it. Just call back in, brother. So we're gonna actually look at a live example of Exodus 14, verse 12. Let's play this.
Somebody type that in case he didn't hear it. Somebody type that in for him to call back.
407.
Yeah,
545. Oh, he's on now. You on, brother?
Well, we can't hear him.
Give us 1 second. We're working out some issues on this side. We definitely want to hear from you, so give us 1 second while we work out the issues on. If we can just get him on the actual Periscope, we can put the mic up to it. We just need to hear what he's saying. All right, go ahead, brother. We got you live and clear now. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Absolutely, we can hear you.
All right.
Okay, so I wanted to address the cultural differences and types of things, that metaphor that you were talking about. Now, before I speak, I want you to keep in mind that I've been all over the world. I have about 3/4 of the globe under my footsteps, pretty much. Like, I've seen, like, majority of the world. So my kind of thing that I've noticed in America that has been different from a lot of countries is the way that they portray media, the way that they feed y'all information in terms of like what age that they give it to y'all, how receptive y'all are to it. Like, a lot of y'all don't understand that even in the news, half of these news things are like a lot of BS. Like, they're actually fake things, and a lot of people don't understand that.
So Donald Trump was right. Fake news.
Yeah, I done read into a lot of this stuff, and then one thing that a lot of people don't understand. I'm about to give y'all a very huge tip. Those hurricanes and natural disasters, like, they're making those. Like, if you Google on YouTube, there's a machine that makes clouds necessarily that NASA has. It's on YouTube. They blatantly put it in your face. You know what I'm saying? Those hurricanes, they're crafting these natural disasters. Like, it's legitimately happening. I could send you the link. It's on YouTube. Just Google it. It's a cloud making machine necessarily. It's a video, like, you can find it anywhere on YouTube. They put it blatantly in your face. Like, they are trying to commit a genocide on you guys. Like, and you don't even know it.
Okay, and you here in the States too, right?
Yes, I am currently.
Okay, so
I've been tracking.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I've been tracking, like, just different things over the last couple months because I've been tuning into IUIC and kind of seeing what you guys are about. I myself have been seeking more into my heritage, even though I've kind of pretty much already known it. I've spent time overseas, Australia, Canada, from South America. Like, I've seen the world, basically.
Yeah.
And all these different things that I'm starting to see in America is It's just a lot of subtle things I'm not going to necessarily go into because it's going to take too long for me to explain it on a phone call.
Yeah.
But the way that they're picking y'all off is so kind of like sick and subtle. And if people actually understood how they're picking y'all off, it would necessarily bring anarchy. And that's basically because a lot of these names that are in the news, they're just code names. Like they're just using ciphers to kind of make names for people to send messages to civilians, like psychologically. And then on top of that, like through the iPhones and everything, like the feds are tapping like every iPhone you can think of.
Okay. All right.
Basically, like
so I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question.
Huh?
I want to ask you a question because we want to make room for other callers coming in. We got a lot to go through, but I want to ask you a question. So I hear the verbiage you're using, y'all. Like who do you see that there's something wrong within this country that affects us, even yourself included? And do you feel like this is the place for us to make it better?
Yes. Let me put it to you like this. From what I've learned from IUIC is Latinos have been in slavery for 500 years. Black people have been in slavery for 400 years. But everybody teaches.
Let me ask you that question. Why?
The reason why is basically it's an ancient blood war that's been going on for a very long time.
No.
I'm not going to go into all of it. I'm not going to go into the details of it because it goes back way deeper than a lot of different things. I haven't just studied the Bible. I've studied like ancient ruins, like the geography, like the actual maps of the places that these things have happened.
Okay.
So it's not just limited to the books. It's limited to the places that's been happening.
All right.
It's based on,
I got you. I want to hear you out, but like I said, it's a limited time, and we can address everything that you're saying. But for the sake of time, this is what I'm gonna do. Where you from, brother? If you don't mind, if you could give just if you don't mind saying your name, I'll see if we can reach out to you. I don't want to put your number online personally, but if you can send us an email, let's put a school number out. I want to get in contact with you, brother. It goes deeper than that. We go ahead. We got to make it short.
I can get into contact with you at the Chicago camp.
Okay, you are in the Chicago camp?
No, I'm not in the Chicago camp, but I can get into contact with the Chicago camp.
Get in contact with the school. Right now. Hey, brother, get in contact with the school. It's a lot more. It's a lot more to what you know. Trust me. It's deeper than it's deeper than geographical and wars and all of that. It's deeper than that. Trust me when I say that. You can look into it for yourself. But I'm gonna say this.
Oh, I'm well aware.
All right.
I'm well aware.
Okay. So get in contact with the school. What's your name, brother? If you don't mind, say your name. I'm gonna make sure.
My name. I would prefer to call on a different line because of the things that I'm aware of. I'm not really sure how many people are like messing with me right now, or if anything is on my phone, because you got to also keep in mind, I've been reading on these iPhones, and I've been like, even the Wi-Fi, they even write it in the Wi-Fi.
I don't want to cut you
off.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, cut you short. Call in. I'm going to tell you what. When we close down the show, we're going to close down at 8. Call back this number that we just gave out to you. I would like to speak to you.
Okay.
I would like to speak to you personally. Call out. The number, again, you can write it down, 407. Matter of fact, the number is posted. 407-545-4624. And we can go into and explain it. But, brother, you an Israelite. That's why we went into captivity. And like I said, we don't have time to explain because I know you got questions involving that. And guess what? I'm going to do the breakdown with you. I'm going to go through Deuteronomy, and I'm going to give you more, just more understanding on why we're in this condition today. All right?
All right.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. Shalom.
All praises. All praises. So we got that video ready?
So I want to say this for the record too.
All right.
The reason why we're in this captivity is because we broke God's commandments. We are the Israelites that the Bible speak of. Now, the stuff that these other nations are doing, we know that they're doing stuff. We're just bringing out very little of the stuff that they're doing. We're just trying to get you to understand this is the place that we're not supposed to be. We know they work sorcery. We know they do it. They're involved in every wicked thing that this world is involved in. The scripture says all nations have drunk the wine of her fornication. So we already know this nation is responsible for all evil. We understand that. Our job and what our mission today is to unveil the evil, to let you know that we are in a wicked place. And this is not the place that we are to call home. So, but we'll get into doctrine. We'll explain who you are after the radio show. Just call in, brother, and we'll speak soon. We got another call?
Shalom, caller. Welcome to the Lion's Den. What's your name, your question or comment?
This is Dwayne from Oregon.
How you doing, Dwayne?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear.
All right. You put out there that you wanted people to call in to talk about how they feel about this world.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
how do you enjoy your stay?
Yeah, I was like, challenge accepted. Okay. So let me just give you a quick, in a nutshell, background. I was raised in Utah for 18 years, which sucked so bad. And then went into the military where there was some racist people putting me in very bad situations in Kuwait. After that, got out, got married, spent like 8 years in 2 prisons. I was a prison guard, working as a prison guard in Arizona and then Oregon. So I got to see what was really happening with our people and stuff. And then next thing you know, a year, I lost my dad, lost my mom. Next year, lost my dad. Then 3rd year, lost my job and my wife.
Sorry to hear that, bro.
And so I was disabled and all that stuff. So I hate this world so much that when I first started hearing this truth, I fell right into it. I fell right in because that was the first time ever I was told that I was not only good stock, but I was better than everyone else. And that was the first time I ever heard something like that. And I started crying.
All praises to the Most High. I said all praises. All praises. You were enlightened. All praises.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a beautiful thing that now since I found you guys, I'm here to stay, because at first it sounded too good to be true. But then as I kept going into it, I'm here to stay. Nothing's going to get me out of the truth. And I've been hurt. I mean, God jacked me up for all this time until I was 40. So, yeah, I'm in it to win it now.
Hey, all praises, bro. That's a testimony to hear, bro. Knowing that you know now why all of these things have happened, you overcame it, and you understand your purpose. You understand where you're supposed to be. You know what you must do to get right. All praises. Glad to have you on board with us. We know we got a mission to do, because a lot of our people don't even see this place as the reason why we're going or why we're catching so much hell. It's set up that way. And all praises to the Most High. The Most High has opened your eyes to see this world for what it is. Now it's your job to bring other people out of the world, because a lot of people are going through these things and they haven't not received the understanding that you received. So guess what God called us to do? He called us to the highways and the hedges to bring everybody in the house, so we can clothe everybody with the same beautiful garments that he gave us, which is his law, statutes, and commandments, and in the faith of Christ. I'm going to read one scripture for you, brother.
The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 19. In your patience possess ye your souls.
God tells us in our patience we are to possess our souls. In our patience, God put us through certain things for us to learn from it and also be an example to others. I was having a conversation with a brother. I said, you look at Peter's life and his walk. A lot of things that Peter went through was for the sake of others. He was faced with trial, but then Christ told him, he said, look, Peter, when you are strengthened, you need to exhort your brethren. A lot of stuff that you went through is for you to show somebody else how to get through it. You look at Job's life. His life was an open book for us to learn from his examples, to see what he went through and how he dealt with them. Yeah, sometimes when we read through the book of Job, we see discouragement on his behalf, but you see that in all his what it says, in all this he maintained his integrity. Quoted somebody. And all of this, he maintained his integrity. He sinned not with his mouth. So these are the examples that are set before us. It says we are passed about with a great cloud of witnesses. Everything that we go through is for a purpose. It might be hurtful to us, but it's for the betterment of our souls. Trust and believe that. The Most High say when you lose, you will gain. Because when you come into the truth, You gain mothers, you gain fathers, you gain sons, you gain daughters, you gain a righteous family. So, hey, brother, welcome home, and I'm glad you're calling in. We appreciate your response to the show, and just keep sticking with us, brother. It's good to meet you. Good to hear from you.
Hey, one more thing, and then I'll hang up. Okay. Just real quick. The thing that did it for me was when I was reading in the Bible and you guys were showing me in the Bible certain truths. Mm-hmm. Then there was a load lifted off of my chest, like these people have a perpetual hatred, so they will never love you. So now I can let go of trying to put my hand out to be in agreement with them. It just, I don't have to do that anymore. And that's what is going to help a lot of people, is the truths in that Bible. Well, shalom, people. I will get off.
All right, brother. We appreciate that. That's an excellent statement.
All praises. All praises.
Welcome home. Not to this place, but welcome home. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the truth.
Welcome. Thank you.
All right, shalom, brother. All right, so we got a video. We got a brother that he enjoys this place, and he enjoyed this place so much that he said, I'm gonna let him speak himself. His name is Jesse Lee Peterson. He's a pastor. I'm gonna let him tell it. You can hear from himself. What did he say about the oppression? Who did he think for his blessed life, for the things that he enjoyed in this place called America? Let's see what he say. Play that video. Jesse Lee Peterson. That's his name. All right, so while he pulling this up, I want to go into the work aspect, because we had a couple things that we want to address about that. I want to show you something real quick. Go to the book of Genesis. I'm going to show you what was not supposed to happen that we are going through. I'm going to show you something real quick. I'm going to take you down a short journey of a 9 to 5 on how before it got to a 9 to 5, what was it supposed to be like? Let's get this real quick. Let me get Genesis chapter 2. Let's start there first. Give me Genesis chapter 2 and verse 4.
The book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed in his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul.
So as we read here, when the earth was already set up, God needed a man to actually be over the earth, to rule over the animals, to actually be blessed with the things that he created, just to have these things at will. Just like when we were in Egypt, even though it was captivity, these things, we did sit by it where it was meat, and plenty of it. We didn't need anything. He actually watered the earth. We didn't have to till the way we did it. The way we do now, it's a curse. So when Adam sinned, this is the curse that he gave to Adam. Let's jump down. So we had it at free. We had everything free in the beginning. Now I want to jump down to chapter 3, and I want you to read Verse 17.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Mm-hmm. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread.
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread. We're going to pull that eventually, subject to payments. But it says, in the sweat of thy brow shalt thou eat bread. You know what that is? That's manual labor. Right. That's your 9 to 5. That's your career. That's everything there. But in the beginning, there was no need for us to set up fruit stands and stuff like that, where you have to sell fruit. This stuff came abundantly. You didn't have to go work on somebody's job. All of these things that we eat, it came abundantly. Trees were free. You needed to build houses. All of this stuff that you pay for, it says our wood is sold unto us. Our water is sold unto us. When you read the book of Lamentation. Everything that's upon this earth, God created. And guess what? It was free back then. Now you're charged for these things because guess what? You are in a cursed condition. When you look in the book of Genesis, all of these things were free. So let's go back to the book of Second Ezra. Let's go to the book of Second Ezra. There was no such thing as a job when man was created. All of these things, we just had to wait on God to water the earth, and we ate of it abundantly. Everything came at his will, and he gave it to us. Let's get that. Second Ezra, chapter 7, and verse 48.
The book of Second Ezra, chapter 7, verse 48. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come from thee. For what profit is it unto us, if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death?
Read.
And that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves being most wicked are made vain.
Read.
And that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety.
Is there was laid up for us dwellings of what?
Of health and safety.
Let's deal with the medical field just for a short span. And you know, in Jerusalem, there was doctors that actually send up prayers for you because they know where healing came from. Now, when you go into these doctors, you go into these doctors' offices in these like Health Central over here. When you have in Florida, you have just whatever hospital that's in your area. You are a customer, not a patient. They don't care for your soul. You are a customer. Do you wait in line like everybody else? You shot? Okay, wait over there. People shot. You got cancer? Okay, you waiting for a new heart? You wait over there. Take a number and you sit down. Back then, we didn't have to deal with all of these things. Everybody was treated with good care because they cared for the people back then. Today, they deal with people with gunshot wounds all the time or near death. You just a patient. You're a customer. Like, yeah, this is nothing I never seen. Yeah, he's bleeding out. Yeah, like everybody else. You see all these people over here dying? He can wait over there with everybody else. That's how we treated in this land. But when you go back into the history on how we dealt with the sick, there was doctors that actually, can we get it?
I got it.
Let's read it.
I got it. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 38. I'm going to start at verse 9. I'm just get to the point because I know you going through there. It says, my son, in thy sickness be not negligent to pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole. Leave off from sin and order thy hands aright, and cleanse thy heart from all wickedness. Give a sweet savor, a memorial of fine flour, and make a fat offering as not being. Then give place to the physician.
Then you give place to the physician. Read.
For the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. There is a time when in their hands there is good success. Here's the part you were saying. For they also shall pray unto the Lord.
You go into a doctor's office and you got atheists as well as people that believe in Buddha. They don't believe in the same God as you. So how is anything going to work for you when their ways are contrary to the God that you believe in? This is what we set up now. But you look back to where it was set up when we were established, when Adam was established, before we got into captivity. It said there was health and safety. But look where we are now. This is why we say we got to get back to where we came from. We got to get back to Israel because of here we are in trouble on every side. It says back then these doctors, they prayed to the Lord for you. Read on.
That he would prosper that which they give for ease and remedy to prolong life.
So they ain't going to give you a medication for a medication because of side effect, and they ain't going to give you medicine for the side effect. Like, okay, you can take these pills, but you're going to deal with this. You might think of suicide.
Right,
when
you want to kill yourself.
But just take them one a day. And then you can take this because you're going to need medicine for that side effect that's going to give you. So you got a medicine for a medicine. So just take all of the, matter of fact, just give me all of the medicine back. Just give me all of these bottles that you can put in this little free
that little case.
Nice little case. You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Pick your poison.
You take all of these pills this day, and then you can take all of these. And then if you think about killing yourself, call the number. Just call us.
Damn.
If you feel like you about to die, just call us. If you feel like shooting yourself, give us a call. Then we'll lock you up, and then we'll give you some more medicine because you think about
Motussin.
Because you know what it is. You know what it is, right? The money's in the treatment, not in the cure.
Right.
Exactly. You are a customer. You don't care about your life. You are a customer. They're gonna put you in some padded walls. You think you calling your doctor, somebody, yeah, the medicine you gave me, I don't think it's right. I think I'm having thoughts of suicide. Don't worry, just wait till somebody get there, and then you get put in Lakeside somewhere, and they can only your family members can only call you. Let's go back to 2nd Ezra.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, verse 51. And that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly, and that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led away a weary life.
Our streets were defended. We didn't have to go outside where our children can go outside. They didn't have to worry about predators, sexual predators in the community. Because guess what? We had laws where if you see something going on in the community, you're supposed to tell it. You're supposed to do something about it. You weren't supposed to let anything go down in your community. We had laws set up like that. There was defense in our communities. We didn't have to worry about drug dealers on every corner. Our children being attacked on their way to school. We didn't have to worry about these things. That's only in America.
So you mean to tell me Chris Hansen ain't gonna be in the kingdom?
Damn.
That's right. For all of y'all that's ever watched To Catch a Predator, that's what we're referring to. Chris Hansen ain't gonna have no place in the kingdom.
That's right. Ain't no
Man.
predator in the kingdom.
Let's read on.
Verse 52. And that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have laid a weary life, whereas we have walked in the Most High wicked ways of all.
He wouldn't want to be in that kingdom. I'm tell you that now. He wouldn't want to be there. Go ahead.
And that there should be shewed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever.
You see that? So that's what we had when the foundations of the earth was laid. When Adam was put there, we had fruit that endured forever. So there's no such thing as a 9 to 5 where you got to work for food. Food came abundantly because God watered the earth. So all of these things we're missing out on. So why would you want to give up your glory for this glory, which is not glory? You don't have culture here. There is no heritage here in America. Okay, this is a place set up for you to fall. They're making their money off the backs of the Israelites. This is how they make a living, and this is your hell. But it's comfortable for you, and they make it that way because it's sorcery. Well, when you actually pull back the scales off, you take the wool off your eyes, you actually see that this place is hell. It's not a place for you to raise your children in. It's not a place for you to be here and stay here and say this is home, sweet home. We didn't even play the video by Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah, he's ready now. You got it? All right.
Allow us to be born in America, the greatest country on this side of heaven. We were allowed to be born here rather than sneaking across the borders or having to fill out an application and wait for years or take a test, which we would have never passed, by the way. But take a test. And so rather than, and all cultures have been enslaved in one form or fashion or another, right? And so rather than wimping and whining and begging, especially blacks today who don't even know anything about slavery, they have freedom to do what they want. Instead of complaining, I would show my appreciation to the folks who died and sacrificed their lives that I might be born in the greatest country in the world. So even though slavery looked like it was a bad thing, it turned out to be good for us because we could be stuck in Africa somewhere.
But wait, why do you have to liken it to being on a crowded airplane? That's what you said about slave ships. Why do you have to trivialize it?
That's another good question. You know how when the slaves were coming over, and they were like right down at the bottom of the boat there, and if you, I don't know if you ever been on an airplane. When you ride in the back of the plane, it's like riding on a slave ship. The seats are so close together. And they don't feed you anymore back there. I think they're changing that now, but they don't feed you. And you could be sitting next to fat people, people who are musty, haven't bathed or anything like that. And so what we did was we created a slave ship to send the blacks back who are complaining about this country rather than showing them, giving to the country. We created a slave ship, and it's the same type of ship that they came over here on. So that if they want to go back, we'll send them back.
Well, you do know at least half of the people on the slave ships end up dying because of starvation and and disease and stuff like that. It's a little different than an average airplane, don't you think?
Well, nowadays it's possible to die on an airplane, but I do understand that, and that's the reason. And that's the reason that I'm living upright as a black American to show my appreciation to those folks who died on those ships that I might be here.
You can stop it. Love one and you're going to hate the other. You can't serve two mammons. This brother says slavery wasn't all that bad.
He said he's living upright as a black American. Can we get 1 Kings 8:47? He said he's living upright as a black American.
Oh, you know, Lil Wayne, he said the same thing. He said, black lives don't, my life matter. I think America has done right by me. You look at all this money that I got. Because the sister asked him, well, what do you think about Black Lives Matter? He got upset and said, my life matter. Look at all this money that I got. You don't think if black lives don't matter, then what is my life? What are you looking at? It's a shame.
And I don't know. I would like to ask Jesse Lee Peterson, if I had the opportunity, when the last time he was on the back of an airplane, shackled, somebody urinating or defecating or on a menstrual cycle dripping on him for a 3-hour flight.
Terrible comparison.
Yeah, that's horrible. He ought to be ashamed of himself for saying that. Go ahead.
1 Kings chapter 8, verse, start at 46.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 46. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far or near.
So now our God was angry with us to the point where he sent us, he gave us over to another people. Mm-hmm. When we read in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49 and 50, it said this people wouldn't care about the young or the old. They would be merciless on all of us. He said, thank God for that. This is supposed to be a pastor, and I don't think he really understands the Bible. No. What the Bible actually says. Read on.
Verse 47. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves.
Remember who you are.
In the land whither they were carried captives.
Here in America, throughout the Caribbean, Canada, scattered throughout the four corners. Go ahead.
And repent and make supplication.
And do what?
And repent.
Repent as what? A black American? No, there's no gate, Jesse, in Revelations 21 for a black American to go through. Go ahead.
And make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captives.
So we have to repent here, make supplication, change our lives here in America. Go ahead.
Saying, we have sinned and have done perversely.
We have done perversely. You know what's a perverse thing? Christmas, interracial marriage, Thanksgiving, birthdays, the political system, putting our trust in these things. That's perverse to the Most High God. Go ahead.
We have committed wickedness. And so return unto thee with all their heart.
So we got to return unto the Most High God with all our hearts. I watched this dude before. One of the things that he loves to ask black people is, do you love white people?
Yeah, I've seen that often.
Well, you can't love God if you don't love white people. Read that last part again.
And so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their enemies.
That's what we have to do. Here in the land of our enemies, in the land of our captivity, this is where we have to repent as a people, as a nation.
And you just said that the land of their enemies. That's whose land it belongs to. We don't belong here. It's their land. We're in a land that was strange to our fathers. He said, you're going to serve in a strange land that you know not. We don't belong here. We cannot be caught. We cannot become a part of this nation. We don't belong together. again, look, if
he says something about an airplane, right? Why are they coming here? Why?
Why?
What all the 12 tribes, what happened to the so-called countries we call home? What happened to so-called Haiti? What happened to so-called Jamaica? What happened to so-called South America? What happened? What did this country do? This country played a part in the destruction of their so-called homeland. So now we have to come to Babylon the Great and got to leave our little slice of heaven. We got natural resources, but wait a second. I would have sold them to us. You colonized us and forced our hand, and now he's saying, just be happy with it. I'm black. You're a colored American? What is that? I don't see an Arab calling himself a colored American. He'd cuss you out and tell you, get out my corner store. But you're proud to be a homeborn slave.
That's crazy.
These two pastors
That's
seem
crazy.
to have assimilated with America. And it's like they're trying to appease their slave master. If I can get Isaiah chapter 28, verse 14.
Isaiah 20:14.
Yes.
28.
Isaiah 28 and 14.
Okay.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 14. Wherefore, hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men.
Ye scornful men. The word scornful means feeling or expressing contempt or derision. And if you hear how they are talking about their brothers and sisters, they're speaking about the Israelites with contempt. They're saying off the wall things. The first pastor was saying, you know, niggas can't do anything. The second pastor saying, you know, if they feel like America is bad to them, let's put them back. We have created a slave airplane to symbolize the slave ship to ship them back out. That's ridiculous. Go on.
Ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death.
So you can tell that these men have made a covenant with the enemy. They've made a covenant with Esau. They have assimilated into their customs. They have assimilated into what they want them to be. So now they are speaking evil against their own people. Go ahead.
And with hell are we at agreement.
And with hell, they have made an agreement. With oppression, they have made an agreement. They are comfortable here in this place, which is not their rest. Read on.
When the overflowing scourge shall pass through.
So in their mind, they're thinking, when the Most High send this judgment, or when it hits the fan, they're going to be okay. Keep going. Read it.
It shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge.
For we have made lies our refuge. We have made America our home. We have made Babylon the Great our resting place. We have made this place our refuge. They're going to take care of us when it hits the fan. Go ahead.
And under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
And under the lives that they are portraying to our people, they hid themselves. They don't think that when the Most High judge Esau for his wickedness, that they're not going to be judged along with them.
You know, another thing that we won't have to deal with too is Christmas decoration. Like when you go to the store just to go get some food, you don't have to teach your children, your young children that don't understand nothing as it, you know, just they're learning. Okay, they're at adolescent age. You don't have to teach them a lesson every time you go in the store and tell them that's wicked. When we're in Jerusalem, we don't have to run into no Christmas trees in our shopping stores. They want you indoctrinated. Every time you pull into your community just to go home, you have to pass by Christmas trees. You got to pass the Christmas lights. You got to pass by the baby in the manger, the little Edomite baby in the manger. You got to pass by all these things because again, this is America's tradition. This is a national holiday.
Yeah.
Become a part of this nation. Even like you said, going back to what you said earlier, officer, when you come to this country, you have to give up your rights of where you originally. You can't, like, if Soldier broke this down to me last night. You can't even, like, if the country that you're from, wherever you're from, decided to go to war, you can't even go back home.
No.
You have to give up all of your rights, and now you belong to America. You are a product of America. That's the agreement that the Bible is talking about. You are in agreement with society, and everything that they put up, you agree with it. The Christmas light, the Halloween. Like, even if you don't agree with this stuff, you still got somebody coming knocking at your door asking you for candy. You still got to deal with your neighbor's lights. Your kids coming outside, they believe in the Bible. Now they question about, what's those lights over there? Ah, here we go. Oh, that's Christmas. That's wicked. That's wicked.
Your black and Hispanic neighbor with a big American flag flying in front of their house.
You know what this guy, this Peterson pastor had the audacity to say that slavery, we ought to thank whites for slavery, and we shouldn't be so offended by it. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, officer, get Jeremiah 6:19. And sound team, I posted something on the Lion's Den on the Telegram, the definition of evil. Okay? Let's see what God says about this. All right? Jeremiah 6:19.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 19. Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people.
I will do what?
Bring evil upon this people.
God says, I will bring evil upon this people. Who's this people? The Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Now, let's get the definition of evil. This is the definition from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Blow that up real quick.
It says,
read that,
top one.
Yeah, top one. All right, read that.
Says arising from actual or imputed bad character or conduct.
Now, what is that bad character or conduct? Us disobeying God's commandments. Scroll down. Now, right there, causing discomfort. Read that one.
Causing discomfort or repulsion.
Causing discomfort or repulsion. It's going to me, if you ask me, it's going to be very discomforting to be at the bottom of a slave ship, not on an airplane. And read that. And what?
Offensive.
Go ahead.
An evil odor.
A what?
An evil odor.
An evil odor comes from the bottom of a slave ship. Okay? Menstrual cycle, urination, defecation, feces. Okay? So, what is this man talking about? God says it's an evil thing. He's letting us know it's evil, and he's letting us know why this evil thing was put upon us. Okay? So you can scratch that airplane nonsense. Nothing to do with the bottom of a slave ship.
All praises.
Again, that goes back to what we read in Matthew 6. You're going to love one and hate the other. He clearly shows you that he hates his own people. He talks easy of oppression. I want to read this one real quick while we go into the next video. Going back to the holidays that we were just speaking about. It says, thus, this is Wisdom of Solomon 14:16. Thus, in the process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law. I'm going to read that again. Thus, in the process of time, an ungodly custom was grown strong, and it was kept as a law. Notice when you go into the store, you strong arm to say, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Holidays. You checking out a grocery store, everybody say, Merry Christmas. Nobody have respect for what you believe in. They don't even consider, they don't care what you believe in because it's kept as a law. In their mind, this is how you be polite. This is how you be respectful. You wish everybody a Merry Christmas. You wish everybody a Happy Thanksgiving because it's a law in their mind. This is a place where everybody has been indoctrinated into an American culture. It's made, the ungodly custom was kept strong here, and it was made a law. Back in Jerusalem, everybody will acknowledge the Passover, the Lord's Passover. Everybody will acknowledge the memorial of blowing the trumpets. Everybody will be fasting on the Day of Atonement. You wouldn't have to walk around for food is being advertised on TV because everybody will be in the same spirit. This is the land that God is calling us back to, where everybody will be. When you go inside of the store, you see decorations for the Hanukkah and things of that sort. You won't see you wouldn't see no doggone, what do you call it, the wreath hanging on the door, the mistletoe. Mm-hmm. That stuff will be out of here. And if the world really want world peace, you know what they will be promoting? The Israelites coming back together. Because I'm going to read this real quick. Go to the book of Isaiah before we go into the video. If the world really wants world peace, this is what they will be promoting. Let's get that real quick. Isaiah chapter 4. The point is in what? Let me see. Or is it 2? Chapter 2.
2, yeah.
Isaiah chapter 2.
Verse 2.
Yeah, let's read that.
Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established.
The mountain of the Lord's house shall be established. Read on.
In the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills. And all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law.
Out of Zion shall go forth the law. The laws that talks about if you see your neighbor's ass going astray, the ass or the donkey happen to get loose, your job as a neighbor is to go return that ass to your neighbor's house. You can leave your bike outside. You can leave your doors open. You wouldn't have to worry about somebody breaking in your house. And guess what? ADT is out of business. You wouldn't need an alarm system because everybody would agree thou should not steal. Everybody would agree thou should not covet. Everybody would agree thou should not murder. Everybody would agree thou should not commit adultery. Everybody would be in the same spirit because the law will go forth out of Zion. Now, what is that mountain that's being established? Let's get that real quick. Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. What is that a mountain being established? Everybody believe in peace, and this is what the world wants. This is what they will be proclaiming. Let's get that. Revelation 14.
The book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the mount of Zion, and with him 144,000.
That mountain or that mount represents the nation of Israel. So when it says that mountain of the Lord's house will be established on the top of mountains, and it shall be exalted above hills and above, and it says all nations shall flow onto it. That's a government system. The nation of Israel ruling under the authority of Christ, and everybody learning these laws, statutes, commandments, whether or not they like it or not. These nations going to put down Christmas. These nations going to put down Buddha. They're going to put down Krishna. They're going to put down Egyptology. And everybody will reverence the God of Jacob and exalt his people that is his chosen. And you know what happens within that kingdom, that country that will be made great? Let's go to back to Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4.
The book of Isaiah chapter 2, verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people.
They're going to learn. Read.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares.
All the AK-47s and they Tech 9s and they M16, they AR-15s, whatever they want to call it. They new guns that they got created, all of that stuff going to be melted down. Their swords should be what?
And their swords into plowshares.
Their swords they're going to beat into plowshares. That's a gardening tool. Read on.
And their spears into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
That's world peace. When the nation of Israel get established, you won't have to worry about nation coming against nation. You won't have to hear about wars in the cities. Worry about your store getting burnt down because of oppression in the cities. Everything going to be smooth and cohesive. Everybody going to work together because the nation of Israel will be established.
The Most High said the trees are going to rejoice.
The trees are going to rejoice. That's what happens back at home. Ain't no place like home. You don't got to worry about what you worry about here. You're going to worry about you getting pulled over and worried about you actually making it home to your family because you pulled out your wallet too fast. Or your phone was mistaken for a gun. It's a sad case that we're witnessing over here.
Absolutely. We got one last video. It's gonna show the same point that you was just talking about right there. One last point.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna pull it, but we might have to cut it short.
2 minutes.
Yeah, we played it real quick. We're gonna end it. I think we the last coming up right now.
This is the Onion News Network, keeping you safe from the lies.
We begin tonight with an update on a story we've been following all week. Hannah Stevenson, the 16-year-old girl from Detroit, accused of stabbing a classmate to death with a screwdriver last month. At her arraignment this afternoon, Hannah received the harshest possible sentencing from the judge. She will be tried as a black adult.
Due to the extreme and violent nature of this crime, this court finds it fitting to try the defendant as an African American. Henceforth, you will be referred to for the jury by the name Wandell Brown.
Once the trial begins next week, all courtroom images of Hannah will depict her as a 300-pound muscular black man, and jury members will be instructed to imagine her as such.
We're going to do our best to make sure that Hannah is treated with the sympathy and sensitivity that she, as a photogenic white girl, deserves.
This is America. Nobody deserves to be treated as a black man.
Now that Hannah has been ruled black, the court has instructed local media to assume she's guilty, and the police have retroactively charged her with assaulting her arresting officer. Hannah's 24 character witnesses have been replaced by a single crack addict who goes by the name of Skaggs. Hannah's parents are, of course, planning to appeal the ruling, saying that their daughter should at most be tried as a black celebrity or a stunningly beautiful Filipino lady. Every time I hear a story like that, it makes me so glad I'm exempt from the legal system.
When you follow Fact Zone's Brooke Alvarez,
Hey, you know
you're
what? That's a new proverb to add to the arsenal. To be tried as a black man.
Now, that was a skit somebody had did, but it goes to show you what we like. A lot of people watching it like, what? No, that was a skit. All right, so we gonna get. Matter of fact, let's pull the scripture. We got one last one. We're gonna get ready to close out with this one here. We're gonna close out. Romans 8:19.
The book of Romans.
No, it's not real. Everybody put up there. No, it's not real. It's not real.
The book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 19.
Yeah, 18.
Verse 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
That's what we just read earlier back in Hebrews. We seek for a country. And that country is not even the stuff that we're going through. When we get to that land, we're going to forget about this. We was going to read earlier the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 8. It said this oppression right here is going to seem as a dream. We can't even believe this right here happened. It's going to be so magnificent when we get on that side. We're going to look at everything that happened on this side of the earth as a dream. Like, what are you talking about, America? That happened? No, that can't be. Look at what we got now. And it's going to be that glorious. He said it can't even be compared to what you see now. Read.
For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God.
It says the earnest expectation of the creature, the creation, waited for the manifestations of the sons of God. Read.
For the creature was made subject to vanity.
For the creations were made subject to vanity. Read.
Not willingly.
Not willingly. Read.
But by the reason of him who had subjected the same in hope.
But by the reason of the person who is the Most High, but because he allowed these things to happen. That's the reason why it's subject to the vanity. Because he wanted it to happen this way. But the earnest expectation of the creation is for the sons of God to be manifest. It said, like the officer stated earlier, the trees are going to rejoice when we set back into place. It says there will be no more of the atmosphere or the ozone layer being polluted. There will be no more of that. Everything will be at peace. We wouldn't have to worry about endangered species. We wouldn't have to worry about all of that because we got laws that govern that. It says, "Is a righteous man care for the life of his beast?" When you see what's the word? Dam? A dam? You see a dam with its eggs?
Yes.
You don't take the dam. You take the dam or you leave the eggs. You take the eggs or leave the dam. We have laws like that. So animals would disappear and go extinct. We have laws like that. We didn't kill animals and put them on a wall. That's what goes on in this country. When Jerusalem is established, guess what? All you nations, you're going to love it. Don't worry, you're going to be loving it. You're going to be cleaning up some fields. You're going to be raking some leaves, but you're going to love it. Trust me. You're going to enjoy it. Because the captivity that you're going to be in, it's going to be wonderful. You trust me. You're going to have off on the Sabbath. You're going to get everything you want. You're going to have off on the Sabbath. You're going to have to acknowledge us as the kingship on the earth. But guess what? You're going to rest. It's going to be more peaceful than what you thought. This country was great. Wait till you get Jerusalem. You're going to get your shovel. You can put your name on it. You want it. You can get your shovel. You get your pitchfork. Move some hay. Take the animals out and make sure they fed. And make sure that the calves are fat. You're going to eat. You're going to work for it, but you're going to eat. You're going to be right at home. You ain't going to be thinking about America. Trust me, you're going to love this place. It's called New Jerusalem. You got something you want to add to that? All right, so we're going to end it with that. There's no place like home, and that land is called New Jerusalem. That's the kingdom that Christ is setting up. And guess what? It's not racist. The Most High said in the book of Isaiah 14, it says, now we ain't got time to do it. Read Isaiah 14. The Most High says you're going to rule over your oppressors. And God is righteous. He set it up that way. So what I said, don't look at it, well, that was just racist. The nations will serve. That's what it says. But we ain't going. We're gonna end it. I got a lot to say, but we ain't gonna we'll end it with that. All right, brothers. We appreciate you for tuning in, subscribing. Make sure you subscribe to the page, like, share, and Lord's will, we'll see you when we come back up. We have next week Miami will be up with Korea Corner Native Hour. So be sure to tune in for other radio shows like this. We also have Prophesy Into the Winds coming on tonight. So tune in and stick with us. And don't turn your back on Christ. Keep the faith until he returns. Hold that which ye have fast till he returns. Stay steadfast into the faith. And with that, we say shalom.
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 Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.